Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new League of Legends video. So Riot finally just released more information about the preseason coming up for 2016. And one of the major changes that they have announced so far is definitely the Marksmen change, whether it's the champions themselves or the items that they're adding for them. Now they have not announced every change so far regarding this topic, however a lot of them have been announced. So throughout this video I'll let you guys know what the changes for the Marksmen are so far that they have announced. So let's get right into things. So every single Marksman champion will be getting some form of change, though some champions will be getting a much heavier change than others. And Riot's goal with this Marksman change for the preseason is to give each Marksman a unique feel, rather than having them all feel for the most part the same with very small differences here and there. So there are going to be 6 Marksmen that are getting a major change in their kit, and those being Corki, Misfortune, Caitlyn, Kogmaw, Graves, and Quinn. And to even add to this, Riot is also releasing some form of item update for the Marksmen that will give them different benefits. And this is all based on what kind of playstyle you want to achieve with your Marksman champion. So whether you want to be a long range Marksman, a dueler, a spellcaster Marksman, a siege machine, and tower crusher, it doesn't matter, there are items that will fit this playstyle. Items have not been announced just yet, but if you take a look at the teaser on the League of Legends website, it does seem like Tristana is able to outrange a tower, therefore suggesting probably one of the items that will fit the long range gunman type playstyle is going to be an item that increases the auto attack range on the Marksman. But now that that's out of the way, let's go into each of the specific 6 Marksman changes. So starting things off with Caitlyn, she's been changed around to now be considered the Control Marksman. So to better fit that name, her traps are now on a charge system, so something like a Teemo ultimate. And there's a sort of new playfield with the headshot combo, so the trap and E trigger a guaranteed headshot on the target. So it seems like her playstyle is definitely going to be a lot more focused on throwing around her traps, since successfully trapping a target will guarantee you very big bonuses. Don't forget guys, these might not be all of the changes, there could still be a lot more that Riot has simply not announced, and some of these can also change. The next big change is Misfortune. So their goal with this champion is to make her feel like a wombo combo type marksman, and the way they're doing that is by putting more emphasis on her ultimate, such as making it scale better and even now have the potential to critically strike. Every single rank of the ultimate will make it shoot faster and more waves, and of course it also does have that AD ratio as of recently. And it seems they replaced impure shots with love tap being the W. And all this one does is give her bonus damage whenever she swaps targets, which apparently will work very well with her Q ability. Next in line we have Kogmaw. The goal with Kogmaw was to make him the true glass cannon hyper carry. So it seems like it's a very similar concept as to what he is currently, just maybe a lot more emphasized. So essentially Kogmaw is going to be having a ridiculous amount of damage, though he of course will need quite a bit of protection. And one of the biggest ways they're doing this are the changes to his W. When activated for 5 seconds, he will have double attack speed, and he also has the potential to even pass the cap on the attack speed being 2.5. However, on the flip side, he will be doing only 60% of his AD in the W form, but it will apply all on-hit effects. So because of this, moving around while your W is active is not going to be very likely, since you'll be attacking so fast, which is why you're going to need a lot of protection. And his ultimate was changed to not be as annoying as a poke ability, so if the champion is quite full on HP, it will not do that much damage. However, it is now treated as an execution type ability, so the lower on HP the target is, the more damage his ultimate will do. So Kogmaw is going to be a very scary ADC in the late game, but he is going to be very immobile with his W on, assuming you use it to its full extent. Let's talk about Corki's change next. So without much surprise, Corki will now be considered the magic damage marksman. Again, it is still very similar to what he currently is, but I think Riot is just putting a much larger emphasis on this title. So for instance, his passive no longer deals true damage, but instead now deals a large amount of magic damage. All of his spells will also deal magic damage, but the biggest change is going to be a completely new mechanic. Every 5 minutes or so, Corki will be spawning bombs in his base that he can pick up. Once he does finally pick up this package, he gets a home guard like buff to help him get back into the fray. And this new package increases his W ability in almost every single way possible. So it'll have 3 times the range of the normal Valkyrie, has a knock-aside effect when it hits enemies, the damage zone is much more dangerous, and it also has a slow, and his normal W is put on 0 cooldown after he casts it to let him reposition himself. So Riot's intent with this ability is to have it used to separate a teamfight or trap enemies in a bad position. Following Corki, we'll be talking about Quinn. Quinn will now be considered the map mobility and roaming marksman rather than the current assassin type marksman. So her R did get changed to not be used for assassination anymore, but strictly for mobility, as it now has a 2-second channel but it doesn't have a cooldown. Sky Strike deals less damage, which is the second part of her ultimate, but the move speed bonus you get is very dramatic. Her Q also got changed from a dueling type ability to a wave clearing tool, as it now also refunds the mana if it kills the target. Though it still does a lot of damage based on the target's missing HP, and it can also proc your passive mark on that target if you hit them with a Q. So again, they're trying to make Quinn to be much more of a strategic type champion rather than just an all-in assassin. And apparently Riot is also trying to make Quinn viable in the mid lane, on top of bot lane. And the final marksman change we'll talk about is gonna be Graves. This is a really cool change because it really makes Graves feel like the champion he should have been, which is without question an upfront marksman type champion since he does wield a big ass shotgun. So Riot finally took that into account, and now they made his shotgun act like an actual shotgun. And the way they did that was make his up close burst damage much higher, to the point where it now seems like his autos will fire multiple buckshots in a cone, so the closer you are, the more damage it'll do, since more of the buckshots will hit. This is probably one of the more interesting changes in my opinion, but they also reworked his Q to apparently now fit his new auto attack better. But their purpose with Graves is to make him be a very upfront marksman, to be in people's face, to hit him with a shotgun auto attack as much as possible, to deal a lot of damage as possible, and not be someone hiding way back in the lines. Alright guys, well that's about it for the changes to the marksman that have been currently released publicly by Riot. I will be continually making update videos on the preseason talking about all the different changes, so definitely stay tuned. But if you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't to stay up to date with the videos, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.